Coolabah Turf is an award-winning grower of premium, drought-tolerant, self-repairing instant turf for Victorian residential, council and commercial landscape customers. Create the perfect backyard with your next project. The kind where barefoot kids chase balls and dreams, where family pets run wild and free, and where summer barbecues with friends and neighbours turn into memories that last a lifetime. Get in touch with the friendly crew at Coolabah Turf today. Call 1800 055 515 or visit coolturf.com.au. LV members who mention this ad will get free delivery on their first order.
Welcome to the Front Garden, brought to you by Coolabah Turf. Visit Victoria's premium instant turf supplier at coolturf.com.au.
And welcome to the Front Garden podcast, brought to you by Coolabah Turf, talking all things landscape here. This is a podcast for anyone who wants to go further into landscaping. And today we have Toby Lestrell, the owner and director of Shapescaper Metal Edging. So Toby, how are you?
I'm pretty well, thanks.
Excellent.
Flat out, but yeah, good.
Thanks for coming in, first of all, as I said. And also I want to know how you kind of got into the industry, mate.
I came over to Australia in 2008 from Sweden. I studied engineering over there, so I was sort of looking for engineering jobs. But as you do, you sort of pick up a random job if something pops up. So I started for a small business at that time who also made steel edging. Not going to mention any names here, but that's where I started in 2008, and that was my eyes sort of opened up to this industry, which is pretty amazing, and just getting to work with landscapers already back then with an inferior product to what we have now, but still just getting the feedback and the sort of the passion from landscapers in general is something I've always taken to heart.
So for anyone who isn't aware, Shapescaper do metal edging for the landscape industry with all different types of finishes. So do you want to have a chat about the types of products you have, please?
Yeah, so our main product is steel edging for just basically paths, driveways and that sort of thing. That's the run of the mill basically. Yeah. But we also do edging heights from 75 mil up to 590. That's our sort of standard product range. But we also do planter boxes. That was something I was quite passionate about when I started this business. I wanted to have something modular that people can sort of create planter boxes that are substantial but not sort of
overwhelming.
Not overwhelming, not hard to get. Not difficult to sort of order or anything. We wanted something that's flexible enough that you can say, look, I want a box that's 400 wide. 2 meters long, and you can just go and buy that basically, rather than having to go to a special custom fabricator that needs to basically put that into production. Everything is one-off sort of.
Have you got set profiles that you can buy, but also do you do custom as well?
We certainly do custom, but our system is flexible enough that you can kind of buy standard units and use the modularity of the system there to put together the size box that you need. So say if you want a planter box 400 deep, 4 meters long, we have the parts to make that happen basically. We can modify just some of the aspects of the system to make that suit. Yeah,
that's really cool. The good thing, so we've actually just recently been using your product on a job of ours, coincidentally enough, worked with this podcast. One of the things that I liked is that you can shape the edging too quite well on site. I was quite surprised how far you can get that radius. So do you have any tips and tricks for people on site doing this, trying to manipulate the shape?
I say generally go with the 2 mil thickness. Yep. A lot of people think that's counterintuitive, going with 2 mil rather than 1.6 if you want to do tight curves, but it actually holds the shape way better, and it resists sort of kinking as well if you want to go really tight radius. Yep. And I'll find from experience you can get down to about sort of 0.5 meter radius without too much trouble, with a bit of experience, of course. Yeah. But the biggest, most important trick there is to go slowly. Like don't try and get that final shape in one pass over, because then you will have a bit of trouble. So just work it in gently and get used to the product basically. But
that's it. I'm actually laughing at that, sorry, because we did this just the other day. We got an old circle planter box, circle planter, and we actually wrapped it around and slowly bent it, and it worked really well. And one of the guys said, maybe we can bring in a tyre so we can shape like So there you go, versatile on site.
Yeah. Look, a lot of people are tempted to sort of pull it around something to get that shape, but I find it sort of works better if you just slide along the shape.
Oh, right.
So just stand the length up at say 45-degree angle, and then you kind of just push a little bit downward with the upper hand there, basically, and then slide your hand along it.
Right, that's a good way to do it.
It sounds complicated, but we've got a couple of videos on our website that sort of show us doing it, or show Charlie Albone doing it as well. He's our brand ambassador, so we use him a bit in videos and so on.
I'll have to send that link to the guys on site.
Yeah, well, look, anything that makes it easier is always welcome. So we're working on more videos. They're currently in production as well, so there'll be more of them popping up on the website shortly.
So speaking about ambassadors, I know there's another gentleman, Dan the foreman, the man. So he works with you a bit. Is he an ambassador as well, or does he help, market the industry, your product?
He certainly does. I've known him since 2008 when I used to work for a different business. We've always been mates, and he's always loved the products that we make, and he supported us wholeheartedly when I started this business, and he's been a big ambassador for us ever since. He's got a lot of connections in the industry, and his sort of energy levels are just unreal. I don't know where
he's built for TV and radio, isn't he? You can just keep watching him.
100%, yeah. He's awesome, and he's sort of he certainly helped us a lot. Yeah.
You're based in Melbourne, production in Melbourne, is that right?
100%, yeah. And
then you've got stockists over Australia that you send to?
Yep. So manufacturing is in Bayswater. So we got one factory there with lots of machinery, and it's getting quite cramped in there, to be honest. So we are looking for something bigger in the years ahead. But at the moment we're keeping up. But then for distribution, we deal directly with I think it's almost 100 stores across Victoria that carry our products. And interstate, we've got distributors in New South Wales and Queensland and WA. So they look after those areas really well. So all up, I think it's something like 240 stores across Australia that carry our products now. And that's something we're immensely proud of. And it just means that landscapers, wherever they are, they can get hold of the products fairly easily.
How quickly could you get a turnaround? If I went to a garden supplier, how quickly could they get the product to me?
Well, if they've got it in stock, which a lot of them do these days, then you can pretty much pick up on the day.
Yep.
If they don't have it in stock, we generally resupply our stores in Victoria within sort of 2 to 3 days. Can even happen same day sometimes, but I don't want to overpromise there.
Yeah, pick up from Bayswater, then you can get it the same day.
We generally try not deal direct with people these days because we've got a great network of stores, and we want to service them as well as we can, and we want them to have the confidence to carry the stock as well, so that we don't sort of sell direct. We are more the manufacturers these days, so we look after the stores and give them 100% of our service.
So we've on site used the rusty finish, if that's what you call it, or Corteen. I've been corrected that many times. And you've also got galvanised.
Yep.
So can you explain a bit about that, please, about the different finishes you can get?
Yeah, so Corteen, most people call it by that name because it's sort of the commonly known one. We use exclusively sort of Australian-made weathering steel, which is the sort of group name for it.
Weathering steel, that's it.
BlueScope call it Red Core. So we've been marketing that quite heavily because we've got the support from BlueScope there to push that, basically. But that's also what sets us apart from imported products, because they're often calling it Corteen, even though it isn't the US steel patented trademark officially licensed product. There's a lot of Asian mills out there pushing out sort of inverted commas Corteen steel, but it's it can sometimes be inferior. I don't want to bag any other products here, but we're using the BlueScope Australian made, and we find that the quality there is very consistent, and it's also a great sort of marketing tool, because we know that people in Australia like Australian-made products, and we really take that to heart and want to make it 100% Aussie-made.
So that's the thing. But when you said before you don't want to bag out others, I mean, it's using quality. So I have seen a lot of edging that has been, whether it's from overseas or wherever, and it just does not work. It's flimsy. It just sort of doesn't weather properly. One of the things I was interested in that I did want to ask you is, what is the process of it weathering? When I was an apprentice, I was told there's a way to stop the weathering process if you wanted to get it to a certain peak of how weathered it looks. So How does that work in terms of it looking rusty or weathered?
Yeah, there's a few levels to that question there. So normally when you buy the product to install it in a garden, you just put it in and it just happens over time naturally. That's the best way to do it. Of course, we have developed processes to get it rusted quickly for various shows that we do, because we do a lot of shows throughout the year, and sometimes it needs to look great straight away. So we've got a few processes there, but basically the surface oxidizes, that forms a protective oxide that stops it from sort of going any further down the track. That happens in most cases, but the only exceptions are if you're in a coastal area, you're within a kilometre of the coastline, saltwater coastline, then that same oxide won't form in that way. So then it can actually keep corroding away there, and that's not ideal. So any coastal areas, we generally recommend go thicker, because that's always better. So we got our edging in 1.6 to 2.5. So generally, if you're coastal, go 2.5 at least. We still won't sort of hand on heart guaranteed for 10 years, but all our products are guaranteed for 10 years generally. It's just a slight exception if you're within a K of the saltwater coastline. Then it will probably last 10 years anyway, but some cases it won't. So.
Well, it makes perfect sense, doesn't it? I guess I shouldn't say rust, because everyone who hears rust and metal think, oh no, it's going to degrade. It's weathered.
It's a protective oxide is the correct term for it there.
Perfect. Well, thank you for correcting me, because I don't want people to think, what's he talking about rusting metal edging for?
No, it oxidizes, but it forms a beautiful sort of patina there, which we all enjoy, and a huge benefit with that is that zero maintenance aspect as well. It's not like a paint that you have to sort of keep reapplying, or if you get a chip anywhere, it's going to just fail basically. So that's the beauty of it. Even if you get a big scratch in the front of a panel or something like that, it'll just sort of oxidize over and look
blend
awesome.
in a bit.
Blend in, yeah. And also if you're not under a canopy of trees or bushes or anything like that flowing over as well, you get like a different pattern from that. So it's like an organic surface, which I love about it, and it'll look different wherever it is. It sort of gets that life of its own.
Well, it is a good look. It can make things pop, and you've got the weathered steel look against like the nice green grass or green leaves. It just pops that much more.
100%.
Which is really good. And even because you said you got different profile heights.
Yeah, so our lowest one is sort of 75 mil, and that's generally just used for flush applications. When you put it sort of all in the ground, you'll just see the top edge. Then you got 100 mil, which you can do the same with, or you can have it up a little bit. And then 150, 185, you got 230, 290, 390, 590. So those are sort of profile heights, and they're supported by stakes at appropriate lengths there as well. We've got our stakes are sort of specially engineered as well. They've got a rib in them for the lower ones for more strength compared to the opposition out there. And our bigger stakes are made from 3 mil as well, so they've got an angled profile, and very, very nice and strong. We've got a special tool to drive in the bigger ones as well. But with them, if you're going into clay or something and trying to drive an 1180 long stake in there, it's not going to happen. So we recommend using augers and just set them in concrete. Basically, that's definitely the way to go.
That's it. The fact that you brought that up, because we had a job in Ivanhoe very similar, and we ended up having to auger it out and concrete them all. That was from another company, and unfortunately the system still failed. So they were 590 or something profile heights for tiered garden beds, and we had them spaced at 1 metre, 1.5. Unfortunately, it just bellied out. So what is the difference between your product and others out there to make sure that it doesn't fail? So mainly with your raised profiles.
Yeah, well, if you go for a 590 profile that we've got there, we've got the 1180 stakes. For anything that tall, that's going to sort of almost be a retaining wall, and we recommend spacing sort of 600 mil apart. If you're going to have any sort of more severe pressure on it, then definitely go for the 2.5 mil when it comes to that profile as well. We do a 2 mil. It works for most applications, but it's also sort of case of knowing the limits. If you've got a 590 high profile, we recommend putting no more than 450 out of the ground there, because there's a lot of pressure in the ground, and it's not designed as a sort of official retaining wall that's load rated or anything.
Yeah.
Although we actually do have a system for that, but we haven't launched it yet, because it's we've had it sitting since 2021 actually, ready to go with the engineering certificates and everything. But it's limited because you can only do straight lines or sharp corners with it. Yeah, and there's so many other products in that space as well. So we've kept the lid on that, because we've been very busy with all the other products. Yeah. So I hope I'm not going to get a whole lot of requests for retaining walls here. But
no. I know what you mean.
We do have a lot of posts in stock, and they're all cut up and ready to go, but it's just one of those things you can't just release something until you're ready to keep up production and so on. And the planter boxes alone and the edging alone and all the rings and all that stuff we do it keeps us very busy at the moment. So
perfect. If I'm on site and I'm not too sure what thickness I need, I'm assuming there'd be a fair bit of information on your website, or you can give a call and discuss the application, then you'll give advice?
100%, yeah. Yep. So easiest thing would be to go to the website. There's a frequently asked questions section there that's quite substantive. So if you have a look there, most of your questions will be answered through that. But if you have any further questions, you can always give us a call or send an email or something like that. We'll get back to you.
Yeah, beautiful.
But a lot of our stockists these days as well, like the stores that carry the product, they will have that information as well, and they'll be a great resource as well. A lot of them have been with us now for years, and the more they sell, the more they sort of get to know the landscapers and get to know the limits of the system. But education is always super important, and that's something we're sort of working on as well, and getting more resources on the website and getting videos and so on as well to explain things, because that's the way it's done these days. So
and it's quick for someone like myself who needs to know something. It's like, cool, video. Yeah, I'll have a look, done.
So we've got Charlie doing a fair few of those. Charlie Albone, which is handy. He's just a great communicator, and he's got the respect from a lot of people as well.
Yeah, a bit of a profile there too. So
so it's great working with him. We've done a few things with Dan as well, locally here, and it's been good.
Oh, that's fantastic. It's good. I was thinking about Dan to bring him up today because as I said, we got some of your product a couple of weeks ago. I spoke to him and he helped organise it all. And same thing, I asked him about thickness sizes and this and that, and he helped me a great deal.
That's something that's been amazing with since we started this business, basically, which was less than 5 years ago since we registered.
Really?
It's just over 5 years since we registered, but January it's 5 years since we opened our doors, basically. So a lot of the growth early on was sort of word of mouth, because we didn't really have a marketing budget early on. We just had to sort of call around all the landscapers and kind of get the word out that we had a product that would actually save them time and would make a difference when you install steel edging, because traditionally there was a lot of flat bar out there and people used that without asking any questions, and that's just what you do. You need to weld it on site, and you got your little stakes that sort of stick up. And most landscapers, let's be fair, you're not welders.
No, we're not. That's why it's below the ground though, Toby, because no one sees it. It's fine.
But as soon as anything is up a little bit, or even if it's in-ground applications, but you sort of see a dodgy joint, it just doesn't look great. And working with those 6 metre lengths, the 5-6 mil thick, it's just pretty hard to work with in general. You might think it's nice and quick to put in because you've got 6 metres in one length and so on, but because it's hard to curve and it's difficult to join it neatly unless you've got a really good welder and good weather and all that. Our system is sort of it allows for very, very smooth lines, and the joints are pretty much seamless once it's oxidised and weathered up, basically.
Yeah, beautiful. So with fixing the two pieces together, have you got like a little plate that you screw the back?
We've got a connecting plate, and that's nice and thick at 2.5 mil as well. Okay. So that's got pre-drilled holes, and pre-drilled holes that match those holes in the both pieces of edging as well. So it's a very simple process. It's something we got away with very early on without having any instructions going along with the edging at all. It was basically just, here are the pieces. You just need to look at it, and it's sort of just how it goes together. That was my goal with starting this business, given I'd worked in the industry for many years before I started this. I had a fair idea of what people wanted out there, and I figured if we had a product that was better than anything else, and at the time we had to be a little bit cheaper, we had to be a lot better, we had to offer better service, and we had to somehow get that word out. And that was tricky early on, really, really tricky. But I've been fortunate. I've got great guys working with me, for me, however you want to describe it. But we're very, very tight-knit team that started early on, and we all had that passion, and we knew where we could go if we played it right, basically. And it's been a bit of a whirlwind. I mean, it's super hard for the first year and a half or something. It was very much uphill, and you put all in, basically. I mean, you go whatever savings you had and borrowing money off friends and family.
Oh, wow.
So on, because bank loans were just not available. So very, very tricky to get it off the ground.
So is that some of the main the main challenge finances at the start, or anything else that was really a big challenge?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to have full backing from my wife Esther as well. She's been amazing in the sort of, especially the early time there, because I don't think I would have had the confidence to go all out on my own basically from day dot there, because I basically left that other business that I worked for many years, and it was like a secure job, well paid, and okay, but that business was taking a direction that I wasn't happy about, and I sort of didn't really believe in that. And I thought, well, either I go and just take another job somewhere, or go all in and try and create something better, and go for it. And that's what we ended up doing. So.
And I'm sure your wife would have been listening to the stories when you come home going, I don't know if I can do this. This isn't happening. She's like, you'll be okay.
She was huge support there. And she's amazing.
That's great. And that's important, to make sure you've got people around you that are going to support your dream and your vision to keep pushing it through. So good 100%. That you've got the support there.
Yeah. And then I was fortunate enough as well that some of the guys that I used to work with in that other business, they sort of chose to sort of come on board with me when they saw what was happening there. And that's been a tremendous help as well, having someone that you already know. You know their capability. They knew me. We had a shared vision basically, and it worked extremely hard for those first years, and it hasn't really stopped. Like it's just, we're still doing crazy hours, and it's gets to a point now, 5 years in, you shouldn't be doing that. Like we need to get better systems in place and so on. And I've listened to some of your podcasts recently as well, talking about all that sort of thing. You've got to get your systems in place and set up different structures and so on. And for us, we're sort of up to 25 employees at the moment, probably 20 full time, and it's a big team to run, and it's challenges there that you hadn't really thought of before. And you think everyone will just be right, but no, that's a huge part of it.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Especially wages alone per week.
100%.
Say it right there, but also I think you still just need to do those hard yards as you're doing and learn as you go, sort of thing. So the amount of mistakes I made sort of the first couple of years that I still make, and you just got to pay your dues with it, don't you? And then you realise, okay, maybe I need to implement something to stop this from happening. So
no, it's a constant journey there. I don't think you ever stop learning basically, and you've got to be open to so many different things happening, and every human is different as well. So my philosophy is often to support people, possibly sometimes more than I should, but I believe the best in people in general, and I try and look at it from a human perspective and try and work with people rather than sort of being just a nasty boss that sort of just tells people off.
People just leave. People just go. You want to keep it a nice culture, even though the word culture gets thrown around a fair bit, but still it's the truth. Keep it enjoyable.
100%, yeah. So we've done a thing right from the start, Friday lunch basically. So every Friday we have takeaway basically. We sit down with the whole team, and it's just something every week where everyone just sits down. You talk about what's going on. You ask what people are doing on the weekend and so on, and it's just nice. It's just that human touch, and
exactly.
I certainly enjoy that, and that's something I think is extremely important when you run a business, because you got that sort of, I don't know, it's a responsibility to look after the people that you've got there, and I'm very grateful for everything they do for me, and I hope they appreciate what
I'm sure they would, Bob, from what you're saying. And I think a lot of people listening are probably business owners too, and that's the thing that can get lost if you don't sort of have that connection with them or create it. And it can be something as simple as taking a coffee at 9:30, 10 o'clock, having a chat, what are you on for the weekend, discussing about their interests, because I've found it can be really easy just to focus on them working for you and not knowing anything about them.
No.
And by the sounds of it, what you're doing is exactly that. You're connecting with them, and that I think is going to build a good culture and keep people. That's what
we're trying to do, but it is difficult. I'm the first to admit that I don't spend as much time doing that as I would like to. But it's just hard when you're hammered with orders coming in and you want to get them out. And
exactly. But it doesn't have to be huge, as you said. A bit of a lunch done.
That's it's a good structure because it keeps it all together. And we generally, whenever someone has a birthday, we generally do like a cake, and everyone goes in and sing happy birthday. And it's just those little things. It just brings everyone together.
The Shapescaper cake, nice sort of weathered steel look.
Not really, but
dental fees would have been through the roof.
True.
Just want to go back in. Obviously, the company that you used to work with, what was the driving factor for you to leave?
It was basically
what did you want to create?
Yeah, it was basically I'd driven that business to sort of bring production in-house because they used to outsource all production and so on, and I'd got that going over the sort of 3-4 years before I left there. Brought it all in-house, got all the machines sorted and processes and everything, and which I quite enjoyed as an engineer because it made me sort of do the things that I really enjoyed in terms of that aspect as well, and setting up production and supply lines and everything through that, which was nice. So the owner basically wanted to change that. He wanted to outsource all production, and there was a few other changes with marketing, taking everything in a different direction. And I was like, well, I don't believe in all these changes. I don't think that's the right path for this company. And in the end, there were a few other factors as well. Yeah. But I chose to leave. That was felt like I was always pushed out there. But let's not look back. Let's look forward.
Exactly.
I had a pretty good idea. I had a few great connections in the industry as well, and having that experience of working with a lot of great people and passionate people and so on as well. So my goal was there, like, well, if I do things right, maybe these guys will join me down the track. Like, there's never anything guaranteed, and it's a huge leap into nothing. And my original sort of plan was, let's do something different. I can't just go into edging because that's sort of not really. Didn't feel like the right thing to do. That's why I focused a lot on the modular planer boxes and, like I mentioned before, retaining walls and things like that, because I wanted to do a little bit more engineering sort of focused landscaping products.
Yeah.
But as it turned out, there was a huge demand for edging as well, and it's been a great sort of foundation for what we're doing, because that is the main sort of revenue maker basically, and it's something everyone needs, and it's sort of easy to distribute it and everything as well if you do it right.
Coolabah Turf is an award-winning grower of premium, drought-tolerant, self-repairing instant turf for Victorian residential, council and commercial landscape customers. Create the perfect backyard with your next project. The kind where barefoot kids chase balls and dreams, where family pets run wild and free, and where summer barbecues with friends and neighbours turn into memories that last a lifetime. Get in touch with the friendly crew at Coolabah Turf today. Call 1800 055 515 or visit coolturf.com.au. LV members who mention this ad will get free delivery on their first order.
And that's it. I think from back in my day when I was an apprentice, we used to use a lot of timber edging, and that's just gone now. Like, I'd never use it on a job of ours. So the market obviously opens up a lot more for you guys with that sense, because people are pushing away from that. Have you found?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's also... Australians were pretty blessed with good timber back in the day. Like, there was so much high quality timber available at relatively cheap prices. I was just blown away when I came over from Europe. Like, what this timber is amazing. Like, beautiful varieties, and they just last forever, and they're super hard and
different from overseas.
Very, very different. Yeah. Like, growing up in Sweden, like, pine is the big thing there, and birch is kind of the only other sort of thing to use for furniture and so on. Of course, there's other varieties, but those are the two sort of main types of timber over there. But here, there's just like a million different varieties, and beautiful types. So we recently started doing some bench seats as well, which is sort of outside of the norm for what we normally do.
With timber or?
With timber tops,
Okay.
So they've got, we did them in spotted gum for the first couple of batches, and then we've done a batch of sugar gum recently, but we've gone back to spotted gum for the next ones coming in.
Sugar gum?
Yeah, so bit different.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
But it's basically we're working with a local timber guy. He's out in the Yarra Valley.
Yep. So
he's working with local mills and so on out there. Beautiful. So if he can get hold of some different type of timber, we're like, let's give it a go.
That's pretty cool, because is the idea that you'll have the timber and sort of then wrap it with metal or steel?
We build a steel base basically. That's laser cut, and all the fixings for the timber is done with a laser cut sort of steel plate. So it's river nuts in there. All the screws and fixings go into that basically. So you got two removable sort of parts of the top of the bench, and it's quite a nice unit. You can see pictures on our website, and we usually bring them out to shows and so on. It's not a massive sort of seller or anything, but it's just a nice piece to bring to shows. Somewhere you can sit down, and it just sort of stretches ourselves a little bit outside of what we normally do.
Have you found that using Landscape Victoria for a marketing reach in terms of getting the product out there has helped a lot?
Absolutely. The landscape show that you guys do down here is fantastic. We've been part of that since our first year, pretty much. Or maybe not the first, not 2021, but 2022. We're definitely there. And yeah, it's just a great way to connect with the industry, and it's grown so much since that first show that we joined as well.
Are we going to see the seats there? Sorry, I just wanted to say
we had the seat. We had the seat there this year actually.
Yeah,
so
cool.
we'll probably bring them back next year as well. So yeah, definitely. We also do a lot of work with the MIFCAs, like the Flower and Garden Show that everyone knows down here.
Yes.
I've been sort of part of that since about 2012. I think the first time I went there, and I was just absolutely amazed by the energy of people there in general during the build. It's just an amazing show. So when I started the business, it's like, yeah, we're definitely going to do MIFCAs. We're definitely going to try and get in there somehow.
Yeah, so, it is quite the experience. You're going to be there again?
Yeah, we will. Yeah. So we love supporting a lot of the landscape designers and people that build their stands there, because there's so many costs involved for everyone building anything there, and suppliers and so on. We just want to help out and make facilitate what they're building basically.
Okay, so would you reach out to the builders and the designers and say, can we support you in any way?
Yeah. That's kind of how we've done it there, and we've built some great partnerships with people there, and it's a huge stretch for us every year. Like back at our factory, I think we've done close to 20 gardens over the past few years. Like each year, sort of 20 gardens. So we're sort of there on our hands and feet, and just helping everyone out, making it all work. And it's a lot of work, but it's also, like I said, you get so much back from everyone there, and just sort of the camaraderie on all the job sites. I mean, you never see sort of competing businesses helping each other out as much as you do at MIFCAs, and it's just something we love being part of that and making it happen. So next year we're building our own garden again. So it's sort of a commercial site in a way, like it's our site, but we try and landscape that as much as we can.
Yeah.
We've done that for the past 3 years with the help of Dan Foreman, as you mentioned before.
Yeah.
So he's done a fantastic job for us, and we can't thank him enough for his all his work and all his creative designs and everything there. So it's been really, really fun doing that with him. But it's been very much all of our crew, or not all of our crew, but several of our people just being there until late nights, and we always finish it off because it's not a judged garden. We sort of do it last minute, so it's usually that Tuesday before it opens, and we're just flat out in the afternoon on the Tuesday even. So this year, for next year, we're trying to do it a bit differently. We've thought we'd give Dan a bit of a break. So I
was going to say, doing 20 gardens, Dan and Charlie would be exhausted.
Yeah, 100%. So. But no, we'll see.
Great.
Like, I can't reveal too many things about next year. It should be a surprise for everyone. But
definitely leave it. But I guess if anybody who is potentially doing something in the garden show, they can reach out to you too.
Absolutely. We're happy to help, and a lot of student gardens and so on there. It's great working with young talent, and just seeing what they come up with as well. And that's something I love in general with making these products, because it's in the name, Shapescaper. Like we want to provide the shapes for the landscapes basically, and want to give people the option to create their own space with our products. And because it is so versatile and flexible and so on, you can actually do that. And then for the Flower and Garden Show, we usually say yes to a couple of crazy projects. Like last year we worked with Matt York. Mm-hmm. He wanted a bird hotel made out of steel.
A bird hotel.
So it's basically a 3 meter tall sort of profile with I think about 3 or 4 levels for birds to go into, and with various sized holes for different types of birds to go in there, and sort of welded on rods for them to sort of sit on before they hop into their little holes. Yeah, it's something completely different to what we do. But he suggested it, and I was like, he showed me a couple of pictures of it. I was like, yeah, hell yeah, we want to do that.
And you did it, and you got it done?
We did it, yeah.
Question is, did the birds come?
I think there were probably more possums in the park there than anything else.
Would have been too busy for birds.
Yeah. But it's just fun to challenge ourselves like that, because my sort of long-term vision with the business is that we can do more sort of custom work and things like that as well, just to keep all of my crew sort of interested as well, because it can get a bit boring if you just do the same thing sort of day in, day out. But where we are at the moment, we are a little bit limited in terms of sort of space and capacity and so on. So probably have to keep the lid on that for another year or two.
Going back, your background is engineering, structural engineering?
Mechanical engineering.
Mechanical engineering.
Yeah. So, and product development as well was my sort of master's area there. But so when I came to Australia, I was sort of applying for engineering jobs and got through to a few interviews there, and they looked pretty promising. But in the end, I sort of started working for this other business through a mate of mine, and that's kind of how it all started. And I saw the potential. I thought this could be pretty big. Like we could make something big with this, but the resources were pretty small there, so it took us a long time to get up to decent size with that business. But in hindsight, it was a great learning curve to sort of be thrown in the deep end with a small business, something I hadn't done before really. But I picked up so much from that basically, and I ran that as if it was my own, not really to the with the pay that you kind of expect for that job these days.
No,
but, so it was
I get it.
pretty hard yards, but the learnings I got from it were invaluable.
There was one thing I wanted to chat about, which I didn't get a chance to touch on earlier. Obviously, we're talking a lot about residential. What about your commercial side of things?
Yeah, we supply a lot of commercial businesses with. Semken is one we were talking about because there before. They do some commercial jobs. They do a lot of sort of large scale residential as well, I guess. So we've done a few big jobs out in Yarra Valley, sort of supplying up to, I think it was 16 or 18 large planter boxes for a veggie garden out there at a sort of old winery, which is great. But commercially, if you want a couple of examples there, we've got planter boxes. The Shapescaper planter boxes are at the St. Paul's Cathedral here in Melbourne, which is very nice. We were just when you're walking around the city, you see our product there, and it's something that makes me very proud. We've got Wesley College as well. They've got our planter boxes around their basketball courts, and that was something that came out of MIFCAS as well. We bumped into the guys there. They asked us a few questions, and then we went out on site and had a look. And
that's great.
It looks fantastic because it's basically, I think there's 700 high planter boxes that go around around the basketball court as sort of 4 Ls framing the court there.
Oh, okay.
So, and that uses all our bracing internally in these boxes because I think they're 15 metres long or something like that.
So when you say internally bracing, like back bracing?
Yeah, so our modular system is basically, it's built around sort of square boxes or rectangular boxes, and then you can extend them with straight extenders. And those straight extenders have sort of braces or brackets on the inside of them with pre-drilled holes as well. And then we put our braces across from bracket to bracket, basically. You can see it all on our website if you're curious of how it works.
Yeah, cool.
But it's very modular, so you can basically build a then box as long as you want, and just make sure you put those braces in every couple of meters, and then it'll stay very sturdy.
And I'm assuming the steel for your commercial applications has to be a bit thicker. You always advise the
planter box is
2.5 or something.
Yeah, the planter box is always 2.5.
Yep.
So we don't go any thinner than that with those ones. We have made a few 3 mil options as well if people require that for taller options. So we did a job out for the Four Pillars gin distillery out in Hillsville.
Yeah, beautiful.
So that was an early sort of project, which was really fun as well. But it was just for the size we were still in our small first factory when we did that job, and it took up like the whole factory just setting it all out there. And they wanted that galvanized as well for that raw sort of steampunk kind of look because it was going to go indoors. So normally we sort of say no to galvanized boxes because you got to grind back all the galvanized coating before you can weld it.
Oh,
and then you've got to recoat that somehow, which is a bit of a pain. If you're gonna do bigger boxes and you want them fully galvanized, you can dip them and so on. They sort of need to be thicker to not have any deformation there. So you're generally best off going towards aluminium instead, and that's something we don't deal with at the moment. So, but yeah, we made that work. They were 1 meter high boxes, like half a meter wide, and various L shapes, U shapes, you name it.
Did you make them modular so they hook together? I'm assuming it'd be heavy.
Yeah, huge. Yeah. But it was all using our same system that we have for our regular planter boxes. It was just scaled up big time. So, but that's something we try and avoid that these days because it's just too heavy, and we're just really not set up for that sort of scale work. But once again, we were small. We would sort of say yes to everything.
Say yes to everything and figure it out later.
Yeah. Then you work out later on that we probably didn't really make any money on that job because there was so many complications and so on. But yeah, you learn the hard way. You move forward, and
you do, and then you try to figure out new systems and ways, strategies to sort of build these things. But on that, did you guys apparently have a new machine? Is that right?
We have invested heavily in machinery over the years. Like when we started out, it was it's crazy looking back at what we started with.
The hammer knocking things into place.
Well, we couldn't afford a laser cutter when we started out, so we started off with a sort of a turret punch, which is something I wasn't really familiar with at the time. But it was.
Wow, what's that?
It's basically sort of like a big hammer knocking out sort of steel.
Oh my gosh, that'd have been noisy.
It's very, very noisy. So that was a 20-ton mechanical turret punch from 1986, I think it was from.
Yep.
Japanese brand, really, really solid machine, amazingly well made, but it required a lot of time in sort of programming and making that work. It had sort of crazy limitations, like program size could be 6 kilobyte, and that's just you had to really rack your brain to make it work.
Yeah.
But that's all we had in the early days, so we got going with that, and then eventually we got a better turret punch, and then another couple of years later we could finally afford a laser cutter, and then that opened up the doors a lot more, because we made all our products just on these turret punches earlier, planter boxes, stakes, edging, you name it, like
everything.
So it's crazy when you look back at it now. But what we've invested in recently is basically an automated laser cutter. So we got a pallet loader on there, so you can load up plenty of big pallets and kind of run that ideally overnight and so on.
Oh, right. Gee, that's handy.
Yeah, so we're already running 2 shifts to make everything we need to make, and it's been a huge challenge just getting 2 shifts to work, because you need competent people, you need to manage that, and you need to.
There you go, the wages again through the.
Yeah, well, that's definitely something. But investing in this machine is obviously a huge outlay, but we're hoping that over time that will bring back some.
Well, if you can run overnight, you're essentially doubling your work capacity, aren't you?
That's sort of what you're hoping for. Probably more like maybe getting a third extra on top or something.
Yeah.
But you still got to deal with all that material. It's got to go through press brakes and other machinery later on anyway. So you're helping one area, but you've got to process the rest of it as well.
Oh, that's awesome. It's always good to grow and progress that way. So
look, it's been a really, really cool journey there, and we've learned so much along the way, and it's amazing when you look back at how people have grown as well that we've taken on board, and
One final question I wanted to ask is, under the landscape engineering umbrella, what else can you see besides obviously steel edging and the seats so far and planter boxes? Is there anything else you guys would want to venture in, or whether it's going international?
We do a lot of rings as well. You forgot to mention that there.
Sorry about that. The rings, yes.
Yeah, they're a huge seller. So we've got a very fancy machine that we make the rings with as well. So that's something we invested in about 1.5 years ago. So we take pride in them. They're perfectly round, and the joiners are perfectly curved as well. And we always put the joiners on one side as well. So even if you get the ring open, you'll still have the connected joint on one side. So it's there's no questions asked how you assemble it. But yeah, going forward, we would love to do more custom work and things like that. But as I said, we're limited by the space at the moment. So we need a bigger factory before we can sort of start dreaming bigger.
Yeah.
But yeah, my goal is to still keep all manufacturing here, because I believe it can be done in Australia. It's certainly very challenging, but it's you just get thrown costs from all angles. I mean, there's so many taxes and so many sort of work cover fees and all that sort of stuff. And then you get payroll tax once you grow past a certain limit. And
I'm getting chills already just thinking about that.
There's a lot of things thrown at you there. But if you can keep the volume up and you can keep busy selling lots of products, then sky's the limit sort of. So we want to definitely keep growing.
Oh, fantastic. Well, Toby, thanks for coming in, mate. And it's really great to get a good insight to Shapescaper and the things you do, and from where you've come from 5 years ago to now, and the products that you've developed. So we'll leave it there, but thanks again for jumping on board, and look forward to seeing you
Thanks
soon.
for having us.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap for this episode of The Front Garden, brought to you by Coolabah Turf. If you like this episode, feel free to share it on all your socials, and we look forward to talking to you next time on The Front Garden.